Just groove. A little more.
1-0. He is an Ottoman player playing against an Abbasid player, gold level. Excuse me, sorry. So we want to see, why did he lose this game? We're going to look at what he could do better, what he did do well, talk about the theory, the strategy behind it, and try at the end of this to have 2 or 3 things he can take on in future games. So let's get into it. Alright, 2 interesting decisions to get from the jump. First, good scouting pattern. A nice circular scouting pattern that we need right there. You decide to not do stone opening, which is interesting. It's interesting for a couple reasons. One of the big things you have to do in this game is always use the advantage of our sit. And then one of the biggest advantages of the Ottoman is the military school. I would generally say that the only time you don't want to do military school is on water maps, when you have to get like a dock first, or playing against the English, because the English have short bows. Besides that, you want to get up a military school as soon as possible, because that's your value. That's what you're getting value off of. Every unit made is resources you have saved. In a way, military schools are like any another TC, because they're producing you value. Value in military units as opposed to villagers, but still value. So when you choose not to make the military school, 1, you're losing out on value over time. 2, they're just a good pressure tool. The Abbasid player most likely wants to go second TC immediately. You getting a spearman there, 1, could potentially delay his gold if he messes up his build order. Or 2, you could force him to go military wing when he didn't want to go military wing, which is an advantage for you, as opposed to maybe going like economic wing or culture wing. And lastly, you could potentially delay the stone. So let's say you get there with spearman and he's going economic wing. Well, great. Your spearmen are now standing there to slow down the TC or force him to do a really bad TC spot. So overall, I think you gave up one of your advantages by not doing this early military school and pressuring him. Second, the second scout, I think it's a little bit of a waste of resources. Generally, all your opponents will go on 1 scout. And yes, you might get a few extra sheep, but I don't think it's worth the delay in you reaching your next age, because a scout is 70, villagers 50. Now you're gonna be a little bit behind on your age up. I do like how when you did the second scout, you did the correct thing of sending your scout out kind of a little outside and then circling back around. You should just have taken the scout. Don't come back up. You take the scout all the way around the back. Okay, now let's see what you age up with. Well, let's see, what's you've seen so far? Nothing. Okay, so since you have a second scout, this scout should basically camp this side. Boom. Economic wing. And here's the thing, like, that would have been so great for you to have spearmen here. Then he really can't get a second TC until he has to put down the production and then makes archers, and then you've delayed him heavily. Sultanati Trade Network. 1, age up with 4. 5 is a waste of a villager. It's not worth it. You're not behind or anything. So age up with 4. 4 is like the maximum level. After you go more villagers than that, it reduces the amount that each villager after helps improve the speed. So just do 4. Second, Sultanati Trade Network. I used to play Ottoman a lot. I use this in 2 ways. Think about what it provides you and what your other landmark provides you. When we have to make a choice, right? One landmark provides you food, a lot of food, and acts as a mill so that you can get those upgrades. So then trade work acts like a market, and now you can trade. It gives you passive gold. When do you need passive gold? You need passive gold if you're going gold heavy, or you are going to lose out on your gold vein, or you want to go trade. Can you go trade here? Not really. The neutral market's right behind you. You need to put a market all the way over here, which you didn't even need to do that landmark then, because you would just put a market over here. Because it's not, you're not getting, yeah, you don't get traders for cheaper. You can just garrison them. When I use Sultanati Trade Work, I use it for 2 reasons. 1, I knew I could trade, so maybe on a map like Hill and Dale, or on a map like Highview, it would be better, because you actually have some distance. And 2, I'm doing it on a map where I can trade, and I'm playing against an opponent who is booming. So Abbasid or China would be great options to do it against, because you could send out, and those traders could go back and forth a few times before your opponent is ready to actually attack you, and you get value off of that. The other reason I do Sultanate train work is if I'm playing against an uber aggressive civ and I'm trying to rush castle. So once again, you can rush castle with the twin minaret. That gives you a lot of food. But let's say you're going to play against the Mongols. The Mongols are going to tower rush your gold. Well, Sultanate train work, boom, infinite gold, which allows you to then kind of like defense up around your base and get to castle without having to leave. But, or English, you could do it against English as well. But that's a rare instance, right? You're playing against the Abbasid. You should be getting as much food as possible because you're going to have to be the one who be aggressive. The Abbasid are going to want to go 2cc, and then they're going to want to go castle, and then usually do some sort of like Gulam archer rush. So your option is, as Ottomans, you're actually particularly good against fighting the Abbasid because you can actually aggress on them in feudal age with a timing that's pretty nice to getting them right before they hit castle. But that comes from because you get the food, and without the extra food, you're going to be falling behind. Okay, 5 on stone. Usually I do 3 for military schools unless you're going for... You in second TC? Yeah, you're in second TC, aren't you? Interesting. Okay, and then you put down a stable. I don't like the stable. The reason I don't like the stable is you should be getting up... Even if you want to go second TC, I think it's important to get up your military schools first. Military schools provide you with free defensive units. Like, even if you don't want to go attack the Abbasid player, you get free defensive units, which gives you space to boom or to get other upgrades or things like that. The free units allow you to do so much more. Even just go raid with 2 free Sipahi and keep him in his base. Like, going stables when you don't even have the food to produce out of them feels like a waste of wood. And, like, let's say you want to rush your second TC, well, now you can't because you won't have enough wood. The point I'm getting at is, don't build production unless you're going to use it. And 2, use your civs bonuses. Those military schools are really good. Get them up. If you want to go second TC, great. That means you're now being more greedy than the Abbasid player, who I assume is going second TC. Because you're going to be second TC and matching his, and also building military schools to get free units, which is like almost like another TC with the value you'll get over time. And so your opponent now will have a chance to aggress on you, be aggressive towards you, before your greed pays off. So now you've put the ball back in his court in a way, and you're hoping your boom is going to pay off. But if you're going to boom quick. Like, getting the stable up is kind of a waste of time. Because look, you could be dropping the second TC right now. Like, imagine this, without that, you're dropping the second TC here right now. You shouldn't even be on food yet. Like, F it. Don't go on food. And you should be off gold too. Like, don't be on gold. You have the Sultanate trade network. You should be off gold, off food, 4 on food for villagers, and just doing stone and wood. Drop the second TC, get on the stone again, get your military schools up, and then you're making your next decision based on what your opponent's doing. What is your opponent doing? You have 2 scouts, so you should see, okay, he has an archery range, he's building archers. It looks like he's building a force to go pressure you. He hasn't aged up yet. He is economic, so he most likely did a second TC. There's the stone. Oh my goodness, he just finished his second TC? Okay, so here's the thing. He thought you were going to be way more aggressive. So he put down a barracks, he put down an archery range, and he's now just getting his second TC up. That is super slow. So there's actually some space for you to be successful here. But you guys are going to get your second TC at the same time. But he actually has military to come up and poke at you now if he wants. The question, can you get military out in time to stop him? You're going to pick. What are you going to use your Vizier point on? Let's go. Anatolian Hills. You're not out of food, though. Anatolian Hills is good for when you're out of food. It does also increase your mining speed, so okay, cool. But field work is so good, especially if I think you're both probably going to hit castle at the same time in field work, which allows you to get the relics quickly. And also, here's the thing: you're angling now for a big battle. Like, you're booming, he's booming. I'm guessing you guys are gonna hit castle. You're gonna fight a bit in feudal. You're probably gonna hit castle, and then you're gonna have this big fight. And the imams that are able to group heal are so good in this scenario. Just my 2 cents. Okay, now you're getting military schools. We're going archers. Once again, this is why I'd rather you do Sipahi out of these and then drop archery ranges, is because going into castle, getting Janissaries is really nice. Getting crossbows is really nice. Because against the Abbasid, I imagine your best comp will probably be men-at-arms, archers or Janissaries, and I don't know, Mass Sipahi could work, but his his I don't know, we'll just have to see what he goes. The Abbasid Spears are really, really good. They want to mass archers, which is really good because in Castle they get that archer upgrade that makes them shoot a lot faster. So you probably need Siege. This is why Abbasid's so good, right? In my opinion, Abbasid's really good right now because their comp are so good. They have great comp synergy. Okay, so here's the thing. You have 2 scouts, and he snuck up on your gold villagers, which shouldn't happen. You should have 1 scout that's continuously circling around his base. You're lucky he wasn't more aggressive for this TC. He could have put it, like, out here or back here, but he didn't. And you need another scout that's, like, kind of patrolling right here, and then the second his villagers came up, you would have known. You did a good job getting this force out, though. That's nice. You did lose a villager. He doesn't have enough scout. He doesn't have enough spears. Nice micro. Beautiful. Go. Go. Okay. Aggressive. One big issue we often have in the silver, gold, plat levels is a lack of aggressiveness. I actually think your opponent was smart here. He saw what you're doing, and he tried to be aggressive. He got a villager. He didn't scout very well, though, so he didn't realize your comp was so much better than his. But now you need to be aggressive back. He just lost his, ostensibly, his entire military force. Or if he didn't, he's not going to have very many units. You need to go down here, and you know where his food is. Push him off this. Keep him off these berries. Go check. He's not on this hunt yet because the deer are still up. But is he on these blackberries? Like, your group of Sipahi now should be running in there and causing havoc, and you need to use this moment to age up. So you have this opportunity to take a really good advantage. You should age up right now. Raid the Sipahi, and right after you age up, you're going into your castle comp, which in my opinion should be men-at-arms and then archers and janissaries. Mixing them as much as you can. Also, you're not making villagers, always be making villagers. But we need to macro correctly. So right now, you're not actually producing much gold, so you need to get a lot more villagers on gold and wood for more production, because you need to drop so much more production. You cannot keep up on this. And you have too many villagers on food. And now that you have map control, so you now have map control, you have more units than him, he can't attack you. You should be sending your villagers out to the different resources along the map that you can pick up. You gotta go wheelbarrow. Age up with more than 4. 4 villages is not. Age up with more than 4 villagers. Your advantage is gonna come when you hit castle. Good, push him off food. Nice, kill 2 bills. He just hit castle, so you're rotating. He doesn't have any units then probably. He went military, so he'll have some camel archers, I think. Nice. Here's the thing. Your goal now should be save these archers. Save these archers. And these Sipahi should not die either. Now you'll use a couple. But look at this. Look at this info here. I want you to stop. A huge thing is reacting to what we see our opponent doing. Your opponent has dropped 1, 2, 3 archery ranges, 2 stables, and 3 barracks. That's a lot of production. What do you have? You have 1 stable, 2 military schools, and you're about to behead an Imperial Armory. He is going to be able to outproduce you, even if your eco is better. Even if your eco is better. Let's see. Sure, right now. He has 51 vills. He has 55, you have 51. But he's actually creating the production to go. This is telling you right now, this man is about to attack. And he's going to have more units than me. These raids are nice, but if you lose your military... See, this was too greedy. The second you see all of these units and all this production, you need to get out of there. Because now you need to preserve your military, because you know he's about to push you and he's going to produce way more than you. And let's look at your macro right here. 2,000 food. 900 wood. Nothing on gold. Almost 600 stone. You didn't macro correctly into this part of the fight. Here's what I mean by this. It feels like you're going to castle without a plan, so you didn't separate your villagers into what's going to make you successful. You kind of just went in with some resources, and that means you're going to not be able to adequately respond to what's going on here. What did you want to get running castle? What comp did you want to go to? Once you have a plan, then you can execute it. Oh, I want to go into men-at-arms janissaries with archers coming out of, with more military schools. Then you'd have food, a lot more on gold to get the janissaries. And you are dropping the production to make that stuff right now. You can tell he had a plan. Your opponent had a plan. Because when he hit castle, he had all his production down ready to go, and he's ready to fight. It feels like you went to castle weren't ready to like fight this out. You have the resources, but you don't have the production to use to build the stuff. I don't know why you brought the Sapahi back again. It's just, it was a waste. This is bold. He's about to walk on you, and you're going to the berries. You're a brave man. Okay, this Magnol is going to be the difference between life and death for you. You have to protect that with your life. You need more units. You either do fast trading or you do Janissaries. Would be my go. But you can't take a fight here. In fact, that was you. I wouldn't even be standing out here. One, you need a scout. You need to take the scout and walk him forward and see what your opponent has so you can respond correctly. Two, you need to put a tower here because these villagers could just die. You know he has a lot of units. You're just kind of waiting for the next shoe to drop. And three, you need to drop a barracks, blacksmith here and more production. And you need house. I mean, overall, this is like, as I said earlier, you didn't macro correctly into a plan. It looks like you don't really have a plan. It looks like you're just kind of producing units and seeing what's going to happen next. What's your win condition here? I love it. Now you're getting men at arms, but you need to do a hard switch. Like, this needed to be something the second you got to castle, you're switching into this, and you need to drop some barracks too, because you're not going to produce enough out of these military schools right now. But you have so much on food that you leave 10 on here, and the second you actually start building units, you're going to run out. You don't have a balanced economy right now. Don't lock up. You're dead. And look at this, you have so many resources because you're not actually buying units. You can go Imperial right now, which, I don't know, maybe Ottoman Imperial's surprisingly good now, but you're also not set up to do well in it. The point being is, you're not making any units because you don't have the production to make units. Like, for example, you have no barracks, so the second all your frontline units die, you have no way to replace them. You just don't have the production. And you have all these resources. Look, the amount of times I have lost a game when I actually had a lot of resources, but I didn't spend them. This guy, your opponent, spent his resources. Let's actually look at current resources. Look at this. Hone in on this. This is the difference of the game right here. Imagine if this food, wood, and gold was units right now. You'd be toe to toe. You could take this out. But since it's not, like, you matching him archers with your Meteor, like, that's game. But they're not units, and now you're gonna die. That's really what this game comes down to. You had a good feudal, but the second this went to castle, it's obviously didn't have a plan. And you didn't set yourself up for success. Only 5 minutes left in this game. This is probably... This castle delays it. This keep delays it, but he's absent. He's gonna drop like 4 rams here. So here's the funny thing. Going imp might have actually saved you, because then you could have got the great bombarding placement, and that would have bought you some time. It looks until he built like trebuchets, but that would have bought you some time. At this point, he's gonna produce continuously and kill you. Like, this many archers from Abbasid with their arrow upgrade means even your men-at-arms just melt. Because I'm guessing he did the... Yeah. Look, he even has this whole force back here still. And he built his own keep. He has 84 vills. 58. Yeah, and you just weren't producing vills consistently either. A lot of times you win into fights, you'd stop making vills. But a great bombarding placement here wipes that out, actually, right there. So actually, yeah, going in might have saved you. Until he built like 8 rams, like he's doing now. Alright. Let's talk big picture here. Big picture. 1, aggressiveness. When you have an opening, when you have units, go do it, but don't be so aggressive that you throw everything away. It is measured aggressiveness. Aggressiveness with a goal. Pop villagers, distract your enemy, get information, get out with your units. 2, use your civ's advantages. Military schools are huge. Even if you don't want to send your spears forward, getting military schools as soon as possible is huge for the resources it provides you, which is why you don't see Ottoman players go second TC a lot. You can go second TC, it's viable, but you don't need to because those military schools provide you so much value. 3, what's your game plan? I didn't really feel like you had a game plan through most of that. Is your, like, if you're going to do feudal aggression, you're dropping production, you're going. If you want to fight it out in castle after you build up an economy, drop your second TC, get to castle, but then you need your production. Like, it was obvious you didn't have a... Okay, so here's how macro really works. Macro really works by, I have a goal, I separate my villagers into the resources I need to succeed that goal, I execute it, I respond based on what my opponent's doing. So if your goal is to go men-at-arms, archers, and siege, and castle, but you see your opponent went all knights, your change would be, will you go spears, for example, but like your plan still stands. But if you don't have a plan, you'll have what happened there, where your opponent has executed a plan, has units, has reached their point in castle where they know they're going to succeed, and you're not ready to respond. But really good stuff in that game. Like, you obviously, like, you had your moments, you had your chances. You just didn't execute in the right moments. But that's why we play the game. We get better every single time by seeing these things happen. With that, if you want, I do coaching as well. So if you're interested in coaching, reach out to me on Discord. Description will be in the link, or the description will be in the YouTube comment, whatever, you know what I mean. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck on your future games.